Hello everyone, in this video we're going to paint the last page of the sketchbook, talk a little bit about this painting and also doing a big review of this sketchbook. And we're also going to talk a little bit about what I've learned in the sketchbook and what I've discovered while using it. So let's go straight into the video. This is the first sketchbook that I've completed and also the first one that I've tried out. I started this sketchbook back in 2018 and I've been painting in it on and off. So it's been a few years, but it's finally done. And that also means that my art journey has changed over the years as well. And you can really see that in this sketchbook. In the beginning I used watercolors and I painted lots of different things like mushrooms and experimented a lot. But in the middle of the sketchbook you really see a big shift, and that's where I started using gouache, especially the Hahnemühle gouache palette like I'm using right now. And the painting that I'm painting in this video is also one that really reflects the aesthetic of the rest of the sketchbook. The next video will be a sketchbook tour, of course, so if you're curious about that, please like and subscribe. So I really use the sketchbook for watercolors and gouache, which is why it's meant to be used for, I think, since it's the Hahnemühle watercolor sketchbook in the landscape format. So let's talk about the sketchbook and if I recommend it. And let's talk about the first impression first, and then we go in depth what I think of the entire sketchbook. In the beginning I only used the sketchbook for watercolor and I painted mushrooms and small things. And I noticed that the paper was very good, and that's what I also recommend it for. I think it's not that great for big landscape paintings or different layers, but if you want to experiment with it and just use it for small paintings, then it's really good. This sketchbook is meant for watercolors, but if you use it for different layers like the landscape that I'm painting right now, the paper goes really bubbly. And when you go to the end of the sketchbook, then the sketchbook is really thick and not that great for scanning and things like that. So that's why I don't recommend this sketchbook. So it's great if you only want to use it for one layer and paint small things. And by one layer I mean just use it as dry paper, but when I paint landscape paintings, I do a wet and wet technique where I wet the entire page first and then I go on top of it, and then it goes really bubbly. So think about what you want to use it for, and then decide if you want to buy the sketchbook. Since it's a watercolor sketchbook and you think you can do many layers on it, I think it's a really good thing to mention. The other thing that I noticed is that even though it's a landscape format, so you think it's useful for painting landscapes, I did not like this format that much. I've also started a different sketchbook in the same series, but then the portrait size, and I like that a lot more for landscape paintings. Especially making clouds and stuff like that, because you can go into the height. And I also noticed that the portrait side doesn't go bubbly when you paint landscape paintings. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's because of the format. When you paint on the landscape format, that the paper is more white, but I'm not sure. Now let's talk a little bit about this last page, about why I used this painting or why I wanted to paint this painting, and my plans for the next sketchbook, like what I want to paint in there and what sketchbook I'm going to use next. The reason why I decided to paint this painting is because it really combines all the elements that I liked since the middle of the sketchbook. It really reflects the mood and the things that I've learned in here, especially the mountain, the landscape itself, and the clouds. And by that I mean using different colors as well, especially since I bought this gouache palette. I really liked to paint clouds, and before that I really liked to paint landscapes, and especially landscapes with mountains. But lately I've been getting tired of painting the same things over and over again and using the same art supply over and over again. So it's perfect timing that this sketchbook is finally complete. My plans for the next sketchbook will be one thing that I'm going to use different art supplies. I've been hauling a lot and I really want to do different things with them and also combine all those art supplies. And the next thing I want to do in the next sketchbook is to experiment painting different subjects. I've only painted landscape paintings so far, and I've never painted any fruits or veggies or animals. Like, I painted a little bit here and there, and by that I mean I've painted some animals, but I only painted them in watercolor. And I really want to experiment finding my art style and also develop my art skills as an artist. Therefore, I decided to use a different brand as my next big sketchbook project. And the one that I'm going to use is the mixed media sketchbook by Ohuhu. I own a spiral version and a regular version, both in portrait style, and I'm going to use the one without the spiral, and I'm going to do swatches in the spiral one. So yeah, I cannot wait to start a next chapter in my art career. I'm really excited to experiment a little more and to really inspire you guys as well to keep experimenting. Especially when you feel like you're in a rut, it's always great to start trying out new things. So buy those art supplies or buy a new sketchbook, or go through your art supplies and sketchbooks to see if you have any oldies left, and by that I mean the ones you haven't used in a while, and just go experiment. Because even though you are already a great artist or an experienced one, it's always great to start trying out new things, and especially when you feel like you're in a rut. So now we're almost at the end of this video, and that also means we're at the end of this painting time lapse and also at the end of the sketchbook. So if you're curious about this entire sketchbook of all the paintings that I did, please like and subscribe, because the next video will be the entire sketchbook tour, and the upcoming videos will be, like I mentioned, about using different art supplies and developing my art skills as an artist. And I'm also going to do different series and art challenges. I really want to do the color art challenge, where you use one color to make a painting, and since I own lots of art supplies, it'll be a great thing to use them all, especially in this mixed media sketchbooks. And I also want to do a 100 challenge, especially the 100 animal channels. So go grab those art supplies, go experiment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!